Welcome to the Black Entrepreneur Experience podcast, inside the business, buzz, and brilliance of Black entrepreneurs. Here is your host, Dr. Frances Richards.
What happens in Vegas goes all over the world on Black Entrepreneur Experience, episode number 197.
Thank you for joining us as we elevate the Black Entrepreneur Experience by interviewing CEOs, thought leaders, innovative thinkers, and Black entrepreneurs across the globe. I'm your host, Dr. Frances Richards. Imagine being a mother with no savings, no college degree, and laid off from your corporate job. And then you launch AndTech, and it has grown into a 7-figure consulting firm. Yes, welcome, Myoshia Boykin-Anderson.
Thank you so much for having me. I am happy to be here today.
You have such an amazing bio. Why don't you fill in the gaps and share with our audience what you'd like them to know about you and AndTech?
So I guess I'll start with the beginning of the story. To your point, I was working a corporate job. I thought I had arrived, right? It was the job for me. I was a single mother at the time of the most amazing 5-year-old ever. And I was at work one day. This was 1998. I was at work one day in February. My supervisor came in and she said, "We have some news. We have decided to close the office." And I was literally devastated. Like, I literally had to excuse myself, go to the ladies' room, and I literally just bawled. I bawled. I didn't have any savings. I was living paycheck to paycheck. So now all of that had been turned upside down. So I allowed myself to, just completely bawl, like I said, like literally to the point where I had to put water on my face to get myself back together. But I went back in there and I determined that day that nobody else would ever have that control over me again, that nobody else would be able to put me in this position again. So that's when the entrepreneurial bug was, kind of planted. It took 9 months after that for me to actually launch my first business. But I realized at that moment that I needed to do something. I didn't know at the time what that something was, but I knew that I did not like this feeling. I did not like the fact that I had no control over it. So I knew that it was a place that I never wanted to be again. So I started thinking about ways that I could pull myself out of this. Now, one of the things I did was I realized after her asking me to help her clean the office, and I was like, really? But I helped her clean the office. But what I started realizing was in this moment of devastation, not only was I going to be out of a job, but all of the clients that I served here at this company were also going to be out of a service provider. So I took that as an opportunity to start contacting each of those people, asking them if they needed help. So that was the start of my plan. And I called all 63 of them. All 63 of them told me no. But instead of taking that no as the final answer, I said, okay, fine. Would you mind if I call you back next month? Some of them said yes. Some of them said no. But I literally called every month. Now, I will say that I immediately had to go out and find another job, right? Because I had to support myself. I had to support my child. But in that job, I picked a Friday every month to call that list of people. The list started at 63 and it kept getting smaller and smaller because every month I called, I had the same script. Hey, it's Myoshia again with my monthly call. Do you have any projects that you need help with? All of them said no. So my response, would you mind if I call you next month? Some of them said yes and some of them said no. But I continued this pattern, Dr. Frances, literally for 9 months, from February all the way to November. So here's November. It was actually Friday the 13th. I'll never forget it. It was Friday the 13th. I decided to make my calls to my now list of 16. I literally got halfway through the list and I said, "Hey, Naomi, it's my monthly call. Do you have any projects that you need help with?" And she said, "As a matter of fact," and my business was literally launched on those 5 words. As a matter of fact, I did not even finish calling the rest of the people on the list. I took my lunch break. I went downtown and I paid $10 for a business license, a DBA. And I literally started my business that day on Friday the 13th, 1998. And literally the rest is history.
That is an amazing story. Now, how long were you with the corporation before they folded?
In this particular position, I was there for 3.5 years at that point. I think I was there for 3.5 years. I had been in the same industry, so I've been in tech since I'll technically say since my junior year in high school. I took a computer class in high school, fell in love with it, like literally fell in love with technology, fell in love with the fact that I could solve problems. And I joined the co-op program in high school. So I worked half a day. I went to school half a day and I worked half a day. And I was working in corporate America. They had this co-op program where corporations in Houston would partner with the inner city schools and they would provide opportunities for the high schoolers. Typically, it started in the junior year. So I was working for what was then called American General. It later became AIG, the big AIG. And that's where I worked my junior and senior year in high school. And I remember being completely in awe of these women that were like adults. And I'm this kid in high school. And I loved the fact that they dressed up. And I just really looked up to these women. I thought it was amazing because I didn't have those role models to look at in my life. I had teachers at school, but being in this environment, and it was interesting because I would hear the ladies say, "Hey, Jenny, do you know how to do this?" And I would kind of slump down in my cubicle, figure out how to do it, and then pop up and say, "Hey, Miss Johnson, I know how to do it." And literally, I love technology that much. And that's literally how it all started.
This is so good. So talk about in 1999, and you had started the business, and then you were working another job. Are you still working the other job or any jobs, or are you full-time in your business? And talk about that transition or how that went.
Yeah, and it was quite interesting because after I left at my lunch break that day, I went downtown, I got my business license. I do a lot of speaking now, so I tell everyone, do not burn your bridges, because the same path you took to come up, you're probably going to have to come down that same way. So I would never tell anybody else to do this, but I literally quit my job that same day. I literally came back from lunch and I told them I quit. I did. It was a job that was a means to an end, but I literally hated it. I hated it, but I stuck with it because I had those responsibilities. But as soon as I saw this inkling of opportunity, I literally quit my job that same day. And I have been an entrepreneur for 22 years. I've been an entrepreneur for 22 years. Now, I will say that first business, I ran that business from 1998 all the way to I think I closed the business at the end of 2007, leading into 2008. And during that 2008 year, I actually consulted with another consulting company, but I did not go back to technically work for anyone else. I knew I never wanted to work for anyone else. But I spent that year of 2008 taking all of the lessons learned at part of 2007 and into 2008. I took all of those lessons learned because I knew I was going to launch another business. And I took every lesson learned. I taught myself. I learned from them. And then I launched what is now called AndTech Solutions. We launched in January of 2009. So AndTech Solutions is 11 years old. We are, we are a multi-million-dollar organization, and I am proud of the journey that has been and the journey that continues, because it literally continues to be a journey each and every day. I literally wake up every day for the journey, and I'm super excited about it.
Tell us about AndTech Solutions.
AndTech Solutions is an IT consulting and strategy company. We specialize in developing solutions, technical solutions that help our clients, the entrepreneur and the small business, to help them work smarter and not harder. So we develop solutions from, all the way from creating custom websites and custom mobile apps to creating full-blown software systems because our clients can't find anything on the shelves to meet their needs. We work on integration to make all of the apps that you're using today, to make those talk to each other. And we even do small-scale projects where we may have some clients who have spreadsheets that they work on every day, and we help them automate those. For instance, we may take a 12-step process that you have to do every single week, and we can roll that process into a one-button solution. So we just develop all kinds of technical solutions, small and large.
And how did you come up with this business idea?
I think, the name in itself is really my passion work. My passion work is to solve problems and create solutions. It's my spiritual gift. My spiritual gift is of encouragement and teaching. It is the work that I love to do, and I love to see the results that I'm able to get for people. So that's like the whole idea around everything I do, is to help people get from point A to point B, to help people thrive in their business, to help them, be all that they ever thought they could be from a business perspective, and even from a personal perspective too, because I truly believe that my life and me as a person, I am truly a walking testimony and a walking testament to what is possible. So, and I think that all plays into what we do as an organization, because it's so ingrained in me as a person.
What are you most grateful for?
I'll tell you, I am unapologetically a Christian. I am most grateful for the gift that God has blessed me with, and that is the gift of encouragement. It is the gift of competence. It is the gift of knowledge. Growing up in the inner city of Houston, I grew up in the hood. I grew up in Third Ward, Texas. And, Third Ward has gotten a lot of publicity lately because the tone of our country right now, and the social injustice and the racial injustices and everything that's at the forefront of everything that we're thinking about today. George Floyd and I grew up in the same neighborhood. We walked the same streets. We went to the same school from elementary all the way to high school. We shared the same teachers, and all of that. And I say that to say that no matter what happens, no matter where we come from, our journeys are what they are. I am grateful that I was able to rise above the way my story started, and to recognize that that is not how I wanted my story to end. When I grew up, my mother was on drugs. I literally had to grow up really fast. I had to take care of my family. So part of my story is that I am in this tech space and I have not been to college. So I am grateful for the gift of understanding, the gift of being coachable, the gift of being able to ingest information and to be able to use that information. So that's what I'm most grateful for. I am most grateful for being able to wake up and do what I do every single day. Because for all intents and purposes, and for all, what society perceives as, what a story should look like, mine is the total opposite. But I am here today to show people, to show young boys and girls that look like me, to show them what is possible. And that's what I'm grateful for.
Is there a social cause, Myoshia, that's tied to your company?
Oh, definitely. Definitely. From the people that we employ, I employ people who need opportunities that nobody else will give them. So it is definitely that to me. We provide services to people who would probably not otherwise receive those services, the services that everyone else can receive, but for whatever reason, they haven't been able to tap into that. So I have a huge passion in being able to bring all of the expertise and the experience that I've experienced in corporate America. For the first several years of my business, I catered to corporate America, and being able to achieve results for them, I'm trying to now bring those same type of technical tools and tips and solutions and all of that. I'm trying to bring it to the entrepreneur who needs it to be able to succeed. So many times as small businesses, we think that we have to work hard because that's the only way. So I am here to provide solutions and to help you scale your business, because if you continue to operate like you're operating now, you're going to burn yourself out. You're not going to be able to scale. And all you really need is for someone to come in and show you how to do it better and show you how to do it, for a lack of better words, how the big boys are doing it. I try to teach people how to think big. You have to think big, because as a man thinketh, so he does. So I'm trying to teach entrepreneurs and small businesses how to think bigger than where they are now. Because if you think it and you do the work, because the work is required, the work, like a former coach of mine used to say, the work is not skippable. You have to do the work. But if you put the work in, the endless possibilities and the endless revenue that we could generate even in our small business is phenomenal. And that's what the cause of my business is. And that's why I work so hard now in these past several years to cater to the small business, because I want to see them succeed on a bigger level.
Talk about your greatest success story for a small business.
I believe that my greatest success story really is being able to look across my staff and see that my daughter, serves in a leadership position in my business. My father has worked for me. I actually just retired my dad. And that makes me feel so good that he just retired and he's able to enjoy, these latter years. And he's still a firecracker and kicking and moving, but he can enjoy this time and not have to worry about the lifestyle that he's going to live. To have my baby brother work for me. And so I think my greatest success is being able to provide an opportunity, not only for others out there, but also for those in my family. Now, I will say that everybody didn't make it. I will just put that out there, that everybody didn't make it. I am a true believer in my business. I am very serious about it. And unfortunately, everybody else is not. And it's okay. My job was to give them an opportunity, and you either took advantage of it or you didn't. So I will say it hasn't been easy working with family, but those who were willing to put in the work, I gave the opportunity to. And for those who were not, they literally got their pink slip very quick. Because I do believe that in business, in order for you to really be successful and grow, and when you think about legacy and growing your business, you have to be slow to hire. So be very intentional about your hiring, but you have to be quick to fire. You have to be quick to fire and know when something is not working. And the longer you allow it to remain, the longer it's going to impact your ability to move forward. So I am quick to cut the ties with anybody that does not mean my business any good.
Season's greetings, Dr. Frances Richards here, and I want to personally thank you for listening to Black Entrepreneur Experience Podcast. Today and today only, I will give away gift cards to 5 listeners. The first 5 listeners that call me and personally speak with me at 702-781-0069, you will win a gift card. Simply call and speak with me personally at 702-781-0069. You must reside in the USA, and the contest ends at noon Pacific Standard Time on December 9th, 2020. I am so excited to connect with you. Again, my number is 702-781-0069. And we must personally chat. No voicemail messages will be accepted. Appreciate you all.
Speaking of legacy, when it's all said and done, how would you like to be remembered?
You know, I want to be remembered as a trailblazer. I want to be remembered as a phenomenal African-American woman who defied the odds, who branched into this space that has historically been reserved for old white men, that I've been able to find a seat at tables that most people don't get a chance to, but then that I was able to leave something to my children and my children's children. That is what I want. That is what my legacy is. My legacy is that I was a person that created opportunities for myself initially, and then that I created opportunities for others.
We're in this pandemic, COVID-19. Talk about the impact in your business and how did you pivot, or did you have to pivot?
So that's a great question. We did not have to do a complete pivot. We shifted, yes, definitely. We did have to make some shifts. The good thing about us and the space that we were already in, we were already in a digital space where working remotely was what we did every single day. So from that perspective, there were no impacts. I will say that, you know, we did take a hit from a revenue perspective because, you know, there's a lot of fear out there, and a lot of people were not sure about starting new projects. We even had projects on the books already in our pipeline that actually, you know, stopped or have been halted. So from that perspective, we were impacted. But one thing that I have been intentional about, and I use this word intentional a whole lot because I am very much that in everything that I do. I am intentional and strategic about everything. So one thing that I've been very intentional about over the years is that even, you know, some people would say, oh my goodness, her business is generating, you know, all these millions of dollars in revenue. I'll say our revenue last year was at $2.2 million, right? But in that, I've always been intentional about still being a good steward of my resources. So I don't blow money. I don't spend unnecessarily. I, you know, try to run a lean operation from a financial perspective. So I am very intentional and diligent about my cash management and my cash flow. Because I'll tell you, when the pandemic hit, a promise that I made to my team is that we're going to have a lot of stuff that we're going to have to deal with. Your job is not going to be one of them. I made sure, even before the PPP was announced and all of that, I promised my team that everybody will maintain their job and everybody will maintain the hours that they work. So, and the only way I was able to make that promise, and I don't make a lot of promises. My husband, who is from Jamaica, has all of these sayings and these epithets and just all of this stuff that his parents and all of the people in Jamaica say. But my husband typically says, a promise is a comfort to a fool. So I try not to make too many promises, but I did ensure my staff that they were going to be able to, I was going to be able to make payroll every week. I run payroll every week, but I was going to be able to continue to do that because I knew that some of them would have to worry about what they were going to do with their kids. I knew some of them were going to have to worry about all of the people that live in their household that can't go anywhere else. So if somebody got sick, how that was going to, I knew it was going to be a lot of stresses for people. I did not want their money to be one of them. But the lesson in that is that as entrepreneurs, we have to recognize and plan for tomorrow, even though we can't see it. So making sure that we are maintaining our cash flow, and just because we make it doesn't mean we have to spend it all. And being able to have strategic financial plans in place to make sure that, unfortunately, the numbers show that there are some small businesses that have already closed and some that are just barely hanging on, and they're not going to be able to survive this pandemic, unfortunately. We have to make sure that does not have to be the case, so I'm very passionate about that, about how we make the money and how we make the money work for us, right? Using it as a tool. And, I still get a salary. I am a W-2 of my company. So I am a W-2 employee. And I live within my W-2 salary and that of my husband's. And we're just grateful that he is still employed as well. His company was furloughed. He got furloughed for 2 weeks, but he is still employed. So we are grateful for that. But we live inside those means. And that doesn't mean that, I can't splurge a time or two here or there because, if you cannot reap the rewards, then what is this all for, right? But it does not mean that we have to flaunt everything that we make. If we're going to be a successful and a viable business, then we have to exercise good money habits.
There are so many brands and businesses that are successful like your business. Talk about a business or a brand that is dominating that you admire and why. Okay,
so I'll just say I think that Jeff Bezos and Amazon is oh my goodness, the business savvy and not even the man, not the man, definitely not, but the business model and the way Amazon is able to just shift when they need to. They haven't made big pivots, and that's because they had such a solid plan. All they had to do was shift a little bit. And I'll say to all of the entrepreneurs out there, in order for you to survive, not just this pandemic, because this is not the last thing that we're going to have to deal with in business, but in order for you to survive, you have to quickly be able to shift. Now, some of us will have to make complete pivots. And if that's the case, make the decision early, recognize it early, and make it. But if you're intentional about your planning, when something like this hits, all you have to do is shift a little bit. You're a chef and you're used to going out, holding private events and, all of this stuff. Well, you can't do that now. Figure out how you can set up an online ordering tool. Figure out how you can make those meals, package them, and get them delivered, right? If you are a hairstylist, a cosmetologist in whatever area of cosmetology you're in, know your clients can't necessarily come back to you now, or now that some places are opening, maybe your clientele isn't as great as it used to be. But make that shift. How can you, because I'll tell you, as women, especially as women, but even as men as well, for those that were used to going to the hair salon every week, I still need my hair done because now I'm stuck at home with this husband of mine. So I have to be cute for him, right? So I still need my hair done. So as a hairstylist, figure out how you can package your products, and you can make homebound hair care baskets and sell those. And sometimes you can sell those baskets for the same cost as a shampoo and style. So just think about shifting. You don't have to do a complete pivot, but definitely realize how you can shift. And even if you had not made those shifting decisions yet, it's not too late. Make them right now, because again, I tell you, this won't be the last thing that we have to deal with. So make the shifts now and figure out how you can meet the needs, because the needs have not disappeared. They've just changed. So you as an entrepreneur have to change with them. You have to shift with them. Figure out what the gap is, figure out what the need is, and just go out there and meet it in your space, in your lane. Figure out how you can meet it. And that's how you're going to be sustainable. That's how you're going to be able to still be around here to talk about it 2 and 3 and 5 and 10 years later. That's how we're going to do it.
Take a shift. We're going to shift gears here. Talk about the worst moment in business and what was your takeaway?
Okay. I'm going to be completely transparent with you guys today. So for all of you guys listening, hear me when I tell you, get your books together early. Do not commingle your funds. Literally, get your money in order early. And what that means is separate your business and your personal monies. Okay? Separate them. And let me tell you why I say that. And trust me when I tell you, I'm telling you something. I'm not telling you anything I read in a book, right? I'll just say that. My worst experience, it was 2002. I'll never forget it. It was 2002. It was actually in October of 2002. I had just bought my first house because 2002, for all of you guys listening, remember I started my business in 1998. 2002 was my first 6-figure year. So I'll tell you, because I wasn't who I am now. I wasn't that person in 2002. So I had my first 6-figure year, and for me, that was just this huge milestone. So I will tell you guys, I started balling, like literally balling. And I'm talking about balling like I bought my first house, I bought my first nice luxury car, and balling, y'all, let me tell you. And I'm from Texas, so I say y'all. So I was balling, y'all. Really, I was. But let me tell you what happened. I am in Walmart. So I talked about Amazon a little while ago. I'll tell you guys, still to this day, Walmart is my favorite store. Like, yeah, I still go to Walmart. I love Walmart. So I'm in Walmart in October, and I'll never forget it. The item I was purchasing was $29.99, so it was $32.46 with tax. Listen to me when I tell you, $32.46 with tax. So I take out my debit card. I'm on the phone, and I take out my debit card. I give it to the young lady, because this was before they had the, where you insert your chip or you slide it yourself. You had to hand your card to the cashier. So I hand my card to her, and I'm talking on the phone, and she swiped it once and it didn't work, and she did it again. So now I'm on the phone and I'm kind of beckoning to her, do it again, right? So she does it. And then I said, hold on, girl. So I put the phone down and I'm like, ma'am, run it again. She was like, well, ma'am, I said, listen, lady, I have a comma in that account. It was so funny. It was so funny that I said that. I was like, I have a comma in that account. And I said it with such arrogance. And she ran it again. So now I'm like, girl, I'll call you back. So now I've hung the phone up, right? It did not go through. And there were people behind me in line. So now, of course, I have pie on my face. So I'm embarrassed that I didn't have this $32.46 transaction couldn't go through. So I later found out that the IRS had frozen all of my accounts And not only had they frozen my accounts, but they had sent notices to all of my clients saying, whatever you owe her, send it straight to us. So let me tell you guys what had happened. And we know, sometimes they say what had happened was, let me tell you what had happened. I didn't know when I started my business, I didn't know the first thing about starting a business. Literally. I had never been taught business acumen. All I knew was that I had a gift and there were people out there that needed it. So when I started my first business, all I had was a DBA. So I would get the money. My clients would pay me. My name would be on the check. So I would cash the checks. My mama didn't have a brother named Sam, and my daddy didn't have a brother named Sam. So I didn't know who Uncle Sam was, right? That's a little joke. Some of you guys will get that later. So anyway, so I would get these notices from the IRS, but I just figured if I never opened them, I didn't have to deal with it. But I tell you, $32.46 I could not pay because the IRS had taken all of my money. So here I am again, y'all. I didn't have cash stuck under my mattress. Everything that I had was in my bank account because I used my debit card for everything. So now it was all gone. And I still had to service my clients, but they could not pay me. They were federally mandated to send all of that money directly to the IRS to pay this debt that I had accumulated. And I'll tell you, I had accumulated over 6 figures in tax debt. And it took a long time. It took a long time, guys, from 2002 until November of 2016 for me to get that notice that said your tax liability is 0. 2002 to 2014. Trust me when I tell you, every person that is thinking about starting a business that is listening to us today, every person that just started their business, every person that has been in business for quite some time and you're in that mature entrepreneurial stage now, if your books are not right, get them right now. Take care of your tax issues. Take care of them and take care of them early, because now our books are so clean and so pristine. 1, because I know I never want to go back to that again. And 2, because listen, it is the way I look at it, it's a privilege now, because if I'm paying taxes, that means I'm making money. Now, you also have to be smart about it because we don't have to give all of our money away. So make sure that you are getting some wise counsel in the area of financial planning and tax planning and all of that. So all of this stuff I know now, guys, but trust me, if you can save yourself from situations like that, do it early and do it now. And it doesn't take a lot. It doesn't take a lot to make sure that you have your books in order, that you are running your business as a viable business. Do it right in the beginning so you don't have to get right later.
What can we do right now, Myoshia, to support your business?
I think right now for me, it's really just about visibility. I want entrepreneurs to understand that there are services and resources out there for them. And you know what? It doesn't even necessarily need to mean becoming a client of mine, because there are some resources out there available to us that are free. So if you're at the point where you need those services, then definitely find out everything that's available to you. But if you're at a point where you need help developing systems in your business, developing automation, if you need help doing things smarter and not harder, so that you can then, you don't need to spend all of your hours on these tedious administrative tasks. You need to be out there generating revenue for your business. That's what you need to be doing. So if you're at the point where you need help with your back office and help, getting yourselves to a place where you can scale and grow your business, that's where the support for me comes in, is for me being able to help you be the best that you could be. So it's literally all about visibility at this point, knowing that there are resources out there and that are people out there who are rooting for you and who are there to help guide you to be able to get to where you want to go. Right. So I think that's it.
Talk to a younger you. What advice would you give to a younger Myoshia?
Girl, you are worth it. You are worthy, right? I spent so many of my younger years, not just as a teenager, but as a younger, I spent so much time not valuing me and second guessing me, not trusting me enough. So if I had to talk to that younger Myoshia, it would be to just trust yourself and know that you are worthy. Know that you already have everything you need. You just need to put one foot in front of the other. Don't let anybody else determine how you see yourself. Know that you are amazing, that you are phenomenal. Because if you know that, you'll make different decisions. And notice I didn't say better but you'll make different decisions, whether they turn out better or not. You'll just make different decisions. And there's so many decisions that I could have made that were different, that could have shortened the length of some of my trials, that could have deflected some of the challenges, that could have opened some of the doors quicker. There are some different decisions that I could have made if only I had trusted myself more.
If you conducted this interview, what is the one question you would have asked yourself? I want you to ask the question and answer it.
Myoshia, what is the thing that keeps you going every day? Dealing with it all, with all of the pressures and all of that stuff, what keeps you going every day? And my answer to that would be to know that each day is a gift. Each day is a blessing. Each day is brand new. So I wake up every day knowing that yesterday is no more. I don't care what yesterday was, what it brought, what it did, what I did. And your yesterday could be 24 hours. Your yesterday could be a week. Your yesterday could be 10 years. Yesterday is no more. So I wake up every day asking myself, how can I be better today than I was yesterday? How can I be a better person? What do I need to do this day? Because I also, while I am a planner and, all of this, I plan for retirement. I plan for the future. I plan for my offspring and their offspring. I plan for that. But I'm not concerned about tomorrow. So all I could focus on is today. So what keeps me driving every day, one is that today is a gift. Two is that tomorrow is not even a consideration right now. And three is that my goal today is to find somebody to help. And that could be in business, that could be personally, but it's to find somebody to help. And then lastly, I have this thing that I've been doing every single day for as long as I can remember, is that I want to learn something new every day. And that doesn't always have to be in business and in tech, even though for those of you guys who know anything about tech, it is ever evolving. So I'm constantly learning and teaching myself and all of that stuff. But I learn something new every day. And it could be as simple as, how many shades of orange are there? Whatever. Something that's gonna mean that I know something more today than I did yesterday. So I learn something new every single day. Every single day.
Talk about your top 2 influencers and what lessons do they teach you?
Okay, this may sound cheesy for some, but I'll tell you, I am a God lover, a Jesus lover. And my influence is there every day. But I'll tell you, the next person that influences me and I'll give you two, because I'll give you one on a personal level and one on a business level, right? So on a personal level, my family, it's my children. It's my children. Being able to work with my daughter every single day and to see that she is kicking butt and taking names, right? That influences me to live out loud in front of her, right? So that is an influence for me, to know that my son, while he does not work in the business, to know that he has just relocated from Texas to Georgia because he just got accepted into the PhD program at UGA. That influences me to live out loud in front of them. So that's on the personal level. From a business perspective, if you do not have a mentor or a business coach now, get you one. It is nothing like being able to have someone lead you and guide you and encourage you along this journey. I invest a whole lot of money in coaching and in multiple coaches, because each one is going to serve a different purpose. And then on the somewhat superficial, I'll say, I love Oprah. I just love her. She is like my thing. Like I've been privileged to meet her one time, and we have this picture together, and I just look at it often. But I'm influenced by people who are where I want to be, but I'm influenced by people whose journey speaks of the unthinkable possibilities out there, right? So I'm influenced by those types of people on the personal level and on the business level.
I love it. And Oprah is someone that she's on my dream list. I absolutely would love to meet her, and I believe I will one day.
Yes, you will.
We come to the part of our interview. It's called Fun Facts Lightning Round. I'm going to ask you a series of questions. I'd like you to give me very quick answers. If there's something you desire not to answer, feel free to say pass. Are you ready for the Fun Facts Lightning Round?
Oh my goodness, let me sit up straight. Okay, I'm ready.
The last movie you saw?
Oh, that's easy. It was the Black Panther, and only because we just got new speakers in our media room, so we wanted to have great action and all of that stuff. Black Panther.
You relax doing what?
Dancing.
Your favorite singer or rapper?
I'll do both. My favorite singer is Jill Scott and Jaheim. I did too. My favorite rapper is Biggie.
Your favorite dance song?
Oh, Ain't Leaving Without You by Jaheim.
What food you eat every week, no matter what?
Well, I was going to say watermelon, but that's only in season because I eat it every day when it's in season. So I would have to say spaghetti.
Your favorite month?
July, definitely. I celebrate all 31 days for my birthday. So July, definitely.
Your first job?
Astro World.
Work out or hit the couch?
Ooh, child. The couch.
Myoshia, thank you so much for spending time with us on Black Entrepreneur Experience Podcast. Before we let you go, why don't you share with our audience the best way that they can connect with you and do business with you? And do leave all your social media handles.
All righty. So I would say the best way to contact me is through our website. It is AndTechLLC.com. And my email address would also be mbAnderson@AndTechLLC.com. From a social media perspective, on Facebook, we are at AndTech Solutions, LLC. We also just created this private Facebook group, and it's called Business Empowerment Through Technology. The acronyms are BET. So from a link perspective, it's facebook.com/groups/ /you bet, because that's truly what I believe. You bet. Can you do it all? You bet. So that's social media. Personally, I am Myoshia Boykin-Anderson on Facebook. On Instagram, I am Miss Myoshia. On Twitter, I am Myoshia Anderson, and AndTech is AndTech LLC on Twitter. And I believe that's it. But I would love for you guys to join us in our Facebook group.
I will definitely do that. Thank you so much. That's a wrap.
Thank you.
Thank you for listening and subscribing to Black Entrepreneur Experience. We would love for you to leave a review and rating on iTunes and share with your friends. For show notes and more episodes, go to www.beepodcast.com. Join us next Wednesday, and remember, green is the new black. So keep your bank accounts and your business in the black.